Do you want to talk about PSX, how the idea of that concert came up?
Uh, yeah,
You tell us.
I could
We're
say.
just along for the ride, so.
Well, so I have a big thing that we do. We make video games, right? And video games are super interesting and super exciting. And I actually find like something like E3 is like my Christmas, right? It's like if you were into films and every film trailer for an entire year came out in like the space of a couple of days. Like that for me, it's just incredibly exciting and I can't even take it in. It's like a sugar rush. And you just get all these games, all these new games announced and everything. But actually, I've always watched E3 from home and then I got to go this year. I got to go be on stage and stuff, which is really cool. But what struck me is it's actually quite dry, when you're there. And actually games are presented in a way that's very commercial, and like you just have this sounds disparaging, but like kind of quite business orientated commercial execs often coming out one after another and saying, things that just sound really ridiculous coming out of their mouth, saying, like we join our character Theo and he's trying to get his crystal skull back or whatever it is, and they queue up a gameplay video and it seems weird. It seems like we're trying to sell, I don't know, like something very functional, rather than like exciting and creative. And so like Sony approached us and said, we want to put on this show PSX and it's going to be all about the fans and it's going to be kind of our version of like PAX or E3 or something like that. We're going to set it in Vegas. Do you want to come? And we had been working like really hard on something very specific and a really big development milestone. And so we're like, sure, that's like perfect timing. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but sure, there's some stuff we would really like to share with people and that's an amazing opportunity. Let's do that. And then we kind of said like, we have this idea, right, for doing something a bit different. Something different that's not just like games on booths and stuff, which like often I'll walk around Gamescom or something like that and I think everyone in here has a headache right now. It is actually not having that great a time. And we were like, we want to do something that is like a lot more interesting, right? And show the game in a really different way. And we pitched them this big kind of stupid idea. We kind of pitched it too big, assuming they'll meet us halfway or like a quarter way or something like that. And then they just kind of said, yes, let's do that. And we're like terrified. So the idea is to take a room full of people, however many show up. I think the room takes like 10,000 people, which is terrifying me right now. And we'll take them and we'll trap them, we'll close the doors, and we'll show them like an hour's worth of, No Man's Sky and have the band play live. And do something a bit more interesting and true to that kind of emotion and like inspiration that we started off with, and hopefully leave people. It sounds like really pretentious, but like leave people with a little touch of that emotion, something that's a bit more real. Because I think often you go home and play a game and it's really exciting, and it can be a really lovely experience. But you go to a conference and often you're queuing for 2 hours to play something for 5 minutes, and it doesn't suit being played for 5 minutes, and No Man's Sky definitely does not suit queuing for 2 hours or whatever, 15 minutes or 30 seconds or whatever there would be, and then playing for 5 minutes, because that's not what the game is, The game is much broader and much bigger, and it's kind of hard to show it off in that way. So yeah, we want to do something much kind of more ambitious, and it's kind of silly, and hopefully because this hasn't happened yet, hopefully it comes off and we pull it off, or we're not all just stood there for an hour with nothing working. But it should be fun.
We'll be working.
Yeah. It's I mean the mad thing of it is like, we're doing this at PSX, we're doing this thing with Sony. It's brilliant and it's super exciting and it hasn't really been done, and I hope that people want to do it afterwards. But every now and then I think we're this like tiny team trying to now, as well as make a game, organize like a gig for like 10,000 people or whatever. And so occasionally I think of how mad that is and how stupid we are. But generally, I don't think about that, and I just get really excited. You're going to be the bouncer, Paul.
Will you be telling the people coming into to that show that it's going to be an hour show, or will that kind of be a surprise? Will the lights go down and you'll get... Because that will blow people's minds.
The idea at the moment is to tell people to come along to like an experience, and I think for most people, I'm hoping that they assume that will be what you would normally get, which is what kind of Sony talked to us about doing originally, which is like, you come up and you talk a little bit about the art direction, and then you show 5 minutes of gameplay, and then you go away. And that's normally what you would do. And that's kind of the standard, right? And that doesn't really suit us very well. So hopefully people are expecting that, and hopefully we deliver something much better. You generally don't go to something like this and get... It's supposed to be about entertainment and creativity and things like that, and normally... when I actually did go to E3, I was totally shocked that it's quite plain, actually.
What do you guys think about playing at a show like this, or like reaching a potential new audience?
It's just a gig. No, it's really exciting.
It's gonna be great.
It's a big stage.
I quite like the fact that, because that Debutante's going to be our most known song,
yeah,
which is great. But we've got a lot of louder stuff as well that we'll be playing.
And we'll be playing some stuff we've never played before.
Yeah,
which will be pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining everybody's going to be looking at the gameplay and not at us.
I'm hoping the other way around. Okay. I think like it's a bit weird, because normally people would go to a gig to see you guys because they know everything about you guys.
Right.
Whereas, it's like you're going to be effectively going, surprise, here's us. Now you're stuck in a room and you've got to listen to it.
There's going to be one guy in there who's like, I hate this band.
Yeah.
Maybe not just one. But,
yeah. But that's it must be... It's a weird situation.
It's going to be as crazy for us as it is for you. It's not something that you do all the time. We've done some weird gigs and stuff, but it's a new one, definitely, for sure.
But I'll be watching the Twitter feed.
Yeah. But I've been talking to you guys about it. Like, you will be used to being in front of a crowd and stuff like that, whereas I, I'm not, and hate it and stuff like that.
I've seen you speak on YouTube. You're good at it.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't do me any good. I think each time takes like a couple of years off my life, basically.
Come on and do a guitar solo if you want.
Yeah,
I could write something in for you.
Yeah. I'll be at the triangle.
Yeah,
I've got a kazoo.
Yeah.